folks, how are you doing? Captain Mark here once again with another episode of From the Wheelhouse. I'm so glad that you took the time to join us. And if you didn't know, I know one thing. We're about to start with giving you our powerful mantra. This is Captain Mark's personal mantra. I just thought I'd share it with you. It's, I am a leader. I set the pace. I will feed my mind positive energy. I will underpromise and overdeliver. I will take care of my body, for it is God's temple. Yes, I am a leader. I set the pace. I will have humility in every task that I undertake. I welcome failure on my way to success. I will give until it hurts, and then I will give some more. Yes, I'll defy the odds because I am a leader. I set the pace. I am the example. Yes, I am, ladies and gentlemen, that it can be done. My appearance will always be that of a prospect and never a suspect. I will maintain an attitude of gratitude. I will exceed all expectations of me because it can be done. It will be done. It must be done. Absolutely. Indeed, I am a leader. I set the pace. Now, if you don't have a mantra like that you read to yourself each and every day, Captain Mark suggests that you do so. Make sure that you're empowering yourself each and every day that you wake up. Because I tell you, life is really short, and you got to make things count. Now, if you really want to get in touch with Captain Mark, here's a way to do it. And I want you to grab a pen and paper right now, because some of you might want to give me a call directly. I take pride that my phone is never filled up. My voicemail bank is never filled up, and I always answer all of my emails, so don't hesitate to get in touch with me by contacting Captain Mark at shipmastermark@gmail.com. That's shipmastermark@gmail.com. My phone number is 312-437-2230. That's 312-437-2230. And so I know for a fact that if you contact me, I'm going to make sure that I am answering each and every one of your questions. Now, today I have a very, very special guest. You know, we have people from the maritime industry every week to give you a look at what it's like in the maritime industry. And some of you ask, what do I do? Why do I do what I do? You have to have a big enough why in order to have success at anything you do. I even got an email that I want to answer right now about what is this uniform you're wearing. You know, are you Captain Crunch or Captain Kangaroo or something like that? This is a merchant marine uniform. A merchant mariner is a person who focuses on serving the public. During peacetime, our mission is to take the tools of war and the men of war and leave them alone. But during wartime, we take the tools of war and the men and women of war to the theater of war. And then we get the heck out of there. As a matter of fact, if you research anything about the Merchant Marines, it's been in existence since 1775. You will see that the United States Merchant Marines have been involved in each and every conflict that the United States government has been involved in. But during peacetime, we're the guys that drive party boats. We drive tour boats. We drive the tugboats. We drive all types of boats. Even the police and the fire boats that you see out on a lake are driven by merchant mariners, and for good reason. If there was an emergency in this nation, we wouldn't have time to train all of the new captains that would be required. We just wouldn't have the time to do so. So we have a great number of merchant mariners who can step right into the role. In fact, we are sworn officers. Now, during peacetime, the truth is, we don't wear our uniforms except for informal occasions, and I got dressed up just for you. That's right, I surely did. Our formal occasions that we go to, our dinners and meetings and so forth, we dress up in our uniforms, and the rest of the time we're in our work uniforms with our captain's bars on our shoulders. You've seen me dressed like that too. So for those of you that don't want to give legitimacy to the merchant marines, just know this: one of the definitions of the merchant marines is that the merchant marine is a draft dodger, a drinker of cheap liquor, and a patronizer of women. And I'll have to admit to all of those at one time or another in my life. That's right, because that's my story and I'm sticking to it. But if there's a national emergency, you can bet that Captain Mark's going to be right on the spot. Even in 9/11, evacuating all those people out of the downtown area of New York took merchant mariners. Now, this is a live call-in television show. I'm expecting for you to call in with your questions or your comments. We have a caller already, and I want to first take that caller. Welcome to today's show from the Wheelhouse.
Hello there, Captain Mark.
Hello, how are you doing?
This is Dr. Cook. How you doing, sir?
Dr. Cook, oh my goodness, Dr. Cook. I want to introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, to someone that you should really know, Dr. Benton Cook, who also helps through Dream Catchers to sponsor this program. But here's another thing, Dr. Cook, I think he's going to become a captain also. He's been a deckhand on many of my adventures. Welcome to today's show, Doctor.
It's a pleasure to be on your program. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be there in person, but I thought I'd call in and just speak with you on today.
Well, that's real nice. I tell you what, why don't you tell the folks about the very first time that you were on a vessel with Captain Mark, and you might tell about some of the things that we've done together.
Wow. Very first. Oh, you mean the time when I lost my phone in Lake Michigan?
You're not the only one. I have 2 phones in the bottom of Lake Michigan and 2 iPads as well. So, tutti frutti for you. That just goes with the territory. But you and I did a couple of long trips. I think we did one from Milwaukee. Why don't you tell the folks about that one?
Yeah, we did, and that was earlier this year, and we were delivering a boat to a lovely couple up in Milwaukee. And it was a power boat. And I had the fortune of driving it most of the way up there. So
yeah,
we had a great time up there, and it also happened to be the time that the NBA playoffs were going on. Milwaukee was playing against someone, and we stayed down in the hotel downtown there and met Stephen A. and met some of the basketball players and guys like that. But the trip was extraordinary. It was quite an adventure. It was quite educational too, because I think that's when I went through my first Mayday experience with you.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that one. I think that part of your training was making sure that we knew what to do in case of emergency, in case someone fell overboard. What happened?
Well, I was driving right along. It was just before sunset, and next thing I hear is that you holler Mayday, and I see a...
I said, man overboard, man overboard.
Yes, I saw a life preserver in the water, and of course I'm thinking that because we had just talked about people who had fallen in waters before. So you set me up well.
I set you up for that, I know.
Yes, but So I went through the maneuvers in which I had to make sure that we didn't cause waves and wakes and, put excess water or distractions to the life preserver. And I was able to back it up and get it right in position so we could snatch up the life preserver. So that was quite something else.
And you did an excellent job at saving that life preserver. But you know what? I was training you also to save me because I could have fallen off of that boat. And I need to make sure I have a mate that's traveling with me that can save my behind. Does that make sense?
Especially since you can't swim.
You didn't have to tell the public that. Right, I can't swim,
Oh, okay.
but
I'm
the,
sorry.
the public that follows me know because they've seen my life-saving equipment, my vests, we call them PFDs, but they've seen my equipment, and I purchased the very, very best top of the line to make sure that if I go in the water, I have a chance, and I have the best radio they make to make sure I can send out a GPS location and all of that. But tell me this. What have you realized from the journeys that we've taken together as far as jobs that are available as a beginner? And you're no beginner any longer. You've been on quite a few journeys with me. What do you think about the opportunities that you've seen for jobs for not just young people, but middle-aged people as well?
That's what I'm hearing from people that are taking the pictures and posted them, and they look at a man like me who's middle aged and professional in other occupations, retired in certain jobs, that I would take the time to go through the training to do this. And I found out it's when you look at the job opportunities, it's a plethora of jobs that you can get involved in, especially with the younger people getting involved in deckhands and cleaning the boats and even pier jobs, working on land in the harbor, but also on the boats themselves. If you can learn how to operate it properly and get the proper certification and the credentials, then you can take this as an occupation far, far beyond just in Lake Michigan. You can go to larger boats. You can do, longer trips, days trips, and things like that. So it's been quite an education for me.
Do you have to have a
You can look at
special
entrepreneurial.
Do you have to have a special level of education to qualify?
No, you can have no degree or, like me, a PhD. It doesn't matter. It's just if you have the wherewithal, the just basic intelligence, you're able to read the guides and out the gauges. And I'll salute you, Mark, because you are very, very knowledgeable on what needs to be done on a boat at any and every time. And then people who work with you and your peers and people who work around the docks, they have a great deal of respect for you. So that's why, you're the only captain that I've trained, and I'm not interested in doing it with anybody else.
Well, look, I appreciate all of those compliments, but I want you to, before I let you go, I want to have you tell the folks a lesson that I taught you about pulling the boat into the dock. How I depend on my deckhands. I depend on my deckhands to grab a line, and even in the wind, they have to pull that boat into the dock.
Yeah. You want me to tell them about the trick you did on me, too?
Well, it wasn't a trick, it was training. Tell them.
But one of the good things that you taught me about this gorilla knot, and it's a figure eight knot that once you get the boat into position, and I've had the opportunity to handle a couple of boats and dock them myself on 31st Street, and it's very interesting to see how the wind and the current and the directions are, and how they can bring you into the actual slip itself. So it's very educational, and then you have to be really on your P's and Q's when you're doing it, because you can cause a great deal of damage to the boat if you don't do it properly. And then, unfortunately, as we've seen this year and last year alone, you can lose your life. A couple of people have lost their lives docking their boats improperly and falling overboard and things of that nature. So it's more than an adventure. It's really fun.
Yeah, that's more than an adventure for sure. Why don't you tell the folks about something that happened when I threw you a line, and man, you got some big arms too. You're pretty strong, but every time you pulled me into the dock, what happened?
You hit reverse on me. You were going forward into the slip, and you hit the bump of the power stick, and you start going in reverse. And I'm pulling the boat forward, and you got it going in reverse. And you kept saying, "Benton, tie me up, tie me up." And here I am, slipping on the dock, sliding down the dock, trying to get there. I said, "Hey, this boat wasn't as difficult at first." But we had a lot of fun with that situation.
Yes, we did. But you learned that the way that a captain depends on his crew is vital. I mean, it's vital to have someone that they can really depend on. And I know that you can take care of anything that I can do, because you're able to bring that boat into the dock. You're able to drive it into the dock safely. You're also able to jump off the boat and pull it in. You even one time went scuba diving and got a line untangled. Yeah, Captain Mark, just like every other captain, gets a line tangled around a propeller once in a while, once in a great. I think it's happened to me about 3 times in my career. But you were with me on one of them. You didn't have any problem in jumping in the water and untying me. But afterwards, I found out that I probably would get my butt kicked if your wife had known that. Thank you so much for joining us on today's show, Dr. Benton Cook. I couldn't run my business without having people like you in my life. I just want to thank you so much. And remember, when you're ready to be a captain, you're there already. You have your sea time. You have much of your training. I'll help you, and I'll help anybody that wants to get into the business. Thanks again, Dr. Cook.
Okay, thank you very much, Captain.
All right, take care. Thanks for that call. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I think that now I'm going to switch and show you something that for our guest for today, a very, very special person to me. I want to show you first, let's see, our overhead. We'll take a look at this. Oh my goodness, who is this? Well, if you take a good close look, you'll see a little girl and a little boy in the middle and another boy sitting behind him. Well, that's me in the middle. That's my baby picture. But here's my big sister, and her name is Deborah Rose Baker. Deborah Rose Baker, she lives in Texas now. But she came to visit us, and I just wanted to share that little baby picture with you. When she was in high school, this is what she looked like. This is what she looked like in high school. And this is what she looked like today. That's absolutely right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to my big sister, Deborah Rose Baker.
Oh, boy.
Welcome to the show. Well, have we had fun?
Yes, we did.
Well, you're from Houston.
I live in Houston now, yes.
And you haven't lived in Chicago since when?
85.
What do you think about this wonderful weather we've been having?
Oh, my God. I am overloaded with clothes and with loaded with clothes and boots. I had to go get some boots and things.
Yeah, you had to go do some things. And
Yeah.
we're going to share an experience with you because something happened special yesterday. But first, I want to take this call. Welcome to today's call from the Wheelhouse.
Hi, can you hear me?
I sure can. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, so my name is Liam, and I've been only in Chicago for 2 years, but I started to get into the boating down at Deuceable Harbor lately.
DuSable.
Summer. Yeah, that one.
John Baptiste DuSable Harbor. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so there was this guy, he's like a captain, and so he told me, like, you bring a lot of girls to the boat, and then they give a little bit of money to me, and then we just go out, and it all works out. I was just wondering, how do you suggest that I get my own boat so I could do that, and that way I can make a little bit of money?
Well, first of all, you can't just take money from people and take them out on a trip. And we are doing subsequent shows. We've done one on how to do it's called a bareboat charter. You have to follow the rules. There are safety guidelines and regulations that the Coast Guard...
I think I can do that because this guy, he's kind of showed me the rules and told me what to do. His name is Chief Bowles, and he knows all the rules.
Well, there's a lot of people that say they know the rules, and he probably does know much of the rules, but the rules currently are undergoing a big change because the rules are not clear. The United States Coast Guard, they're doing their best to enforce these rules, but I'm going to tell you, we have to make sure that the rules are clear. If you want some exact information on how to do this, I would like for you to give me a call before at the end of the show. I'm going to give my telephone number and email address, and I'll make sure I send all of the current rules to you and all of the proposed changes in the rules so that we can be on the same page, and I'd be glad to answer any of your questions.
That would be awesome. Captain.
Thank you so much for your call.
One time he just he said, like, if the cops come, you just say, like, I'm your uncle.
Well, okay. Listen, we want to make sure that we answer your calls exactly, answer all your questions exactly. Email me or give me a call. I'd be glad to share that with you. Thanks for calling again.
Okay, thanks
Okay.
a lot.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, my sister is here today, and we went on a journey yesterday. We got to do this real quick.
Oh,
okay?
my God.
So I want to show you. You explain what happened here while I show
I didn't even
some of
give
the
me a chance to
pictures.
see.
Look
Oh,
at
my
this.
God.
Who is this?
Well, that is us.
That is us, and that was yesterday. It was
Yeah.
freezing out. You had so many clothes on.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was freezing. I was actually on the lake. Hadn't been. Oh my God, he was giving me lessons on how to drive the boat. I was petrified.
So if you can do it, anybody can do it.
Oh my
That is
God, was I
absolutely
scared.
right.
Yep, you're right. You can't get lost.
Listen to this, folks. I turned on an alarm to scare her. I went downstairs. Say, let me see what that's about. And so you hear a false alarm in the background, and I'm sneaking up on her right now. I'm sneaking up on her.
Oh my God. Oh my
You
God.
having a good time, sis?
Oh, Mark, look at this. I don't like this part.
You don't like this part.
Because the boat, I don't like staying in no boat.
Well, you're going to have to because I'm not going to drive us.
Mark, look. Why are we going that way?
Turning that way.
I don't want to turn that way.
Turn the opposite way.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Oh my
Just
God.
keep the waves right at your back, and you'll be fine. Turn
Oh
a little
my
to the
God.
left. We call that port.
Okay.
Oh my
This
goodness.
is funny.
Oh,
No, we don't have to look. Look, Mark.
folks.
That was torture. torture.
But you were the example that it can be done. You see, folks, even a beginner can get out here and drive a boat and be taught on how to handle a
Yeah,
boat.
but Mark, wouldn't it be better if you had training on land first to actually get out there in the middle of Lake Michigan, to which I had never been out there?
Look.
You're so used to seeing the import of the water and the sand, but
Sis, you did a good job. I just wanted to make sure, folks. Just wanted to make sure. We only have a minute left, so I got to be real quick about this. I just wanted you to know that if my sister can do it, you can do it too. Absolutely. You have to have some book knowledge in order to be a captain, but in order to drive a boat safely, you have to have hands-on training under the supervision of a licensed captain, and you can learn how to do it. So I'm so thankful that you got to see what your little brother does for a living.
that won't happen again.
It won't happen.
Not unless I'm on a cruise line.
Look, we have to go right now. Thank you so much for joining in today's episode of From the Wheelhouse. I just am so enthusiastic about what I do because I want to help everyone make a great living in the maritime industry. That's all for this week. We'll see you next week with another show packed with information. Until then, I'll see you then. Baby, get the coffee ready because the kid, he's on his way. Bye-bye now.